The Padres somehow kept a 500 record through their arduous 26 games in 27 days. There's a lot to be optimistic about tonight on Padres. Talking Padres. Celebrate and welcome to Padres Talking Padres. My name is Jay, here with two of my favorite Padres, Jack and Jerry. Gentlemen, how you doing tonight?
Good.
Very good.
I didn't know it was up already. I didn't know the 26 games had happened already.
Yeah. We survived.
I know. I just was like going, oh, wow. Okay. That's not bad.
Yeah. I love my Padre baseball, but I even needed a day off. I'm just like, man, I feel like I've been just watching baseball. And I love it, but yeah.
Well, sometimes Padre baseball can be kind of, it's not always exciting.
Well, I think it's the other way around though, Jack, and we've kind of talked about this in our text. Watching Padre baseball will wear you out because they always play close games.
Yeah,
it's just every game is just nickel, dime, bomb, back and forth. Everything. You're just like, oh, can we just? I mean, we had one. It seemed like forever ago when we played Colorado. What was it, 25-1 or whatever?
Yeah,
but. Even like, can we just have like a simple 7-2 game or something like that? But no, every game 3-2, 2-1.
Well, every time you think they're going to do it,
yeah,
you got bases loaded, one out. You're okay. Let's blow this puppy open, and they'll score a run.
Or they blow it open, and then the bullpen blows up or something like that. All right. So since that Colorado Rockies game, Oz, hello Oz, we're just getting right into it today. Yeah. So they had that 21-0 win. They lost to the Rockies, lost to the Angels by 3, won by 2, won by 4, lost by 4, won by 3, lost by 4. I'm sorry, lost by 3, lost by 4, lost by 3.
You're going way back here. Yeah.
Within one, lost by 6, won by 2. This Marlins game, we should have won this 8-10 game. That's one that kind of hurts.
Yeah.
We won this Pirates game 3-2, lost 0-5.
We blew that in the 8th inning, right? The Marlins game.
Yep, exactly. That's the one that Gavin Sheets kind of hero of the game. I thought we were going to win it easily, and I think Adams imploded in that one, maybe. So this started the 26 game stretch in 27 days. So Pirates. So we won, we lost. And then if we go up to into June, we then, we won a series against the Pirates. We split with the Giants. And again, so those, even against the Pirates, up 1-2, 1-1, 1-1, lost by 1, lost by 1, 1-2, lost by 1, 1-1, lost by 1 against the Dodgers. We blew out the Dodgers. So that was one chillax kind of game. Yeah. But still the Dodgers, so you never know. But that's the one where Kike Hernandez was brought in the 6th inning.
The one they said they gave to us.
Yeah. Lost by 3 to the Dodgers. This one I felt like we didn't have a chance in this game. This one we lost to the Diamondbacks. We blew this one to the Diamondbacks. Lost walk-off fashion. But we were up by 4 runs in that game. We kind of blew out this one, which was nice. Lost by 3, lost by 2, lost by 1. And then 1-2. That one was kind of a laugher, not really a laugher, but we're up by 5 until the 9th inning. When that was stressful. That last inning was really stressful.
Reynolds couldn't throw strikes.
Yeah. And then Royals, we lost by 1, 1-4, 1-1, lost the Nationals, 1-1 for the next 2 Nationals games. And here we are. You're right. So out of all of that, maybe we had 2 or 3 games that were kind of like, we're either comfortable or whatever. That's insane.
Yeah.
And you wonder why the bullpen's overworked.
And it doesn't get easier. The Reds are playing well right now. My father-in-law is staying with the Yankees fan, and they took 2 out of 3, I think, from the Yankees. And the Phillies are playing really good right now.
Well, we focus so much on the 26 out of 27, but that doesn't speak to the fact that the competition is still going on. And, the bottom line is, I believe there are 7 teams within like 4 games of each other for those wild card spots. So, you're still got a long ways to go. Obviously, Friday is the halfway point of the season. And you sit there and look at it and you're like, okay, so basically there's not very many teams left that aren't going for the playoffs. there's 4 in the National League that aren't really going to be in the playoffs. That's Miami and Washington, Pittsburgh, and Colorado. We've already played Pittsburgh both times. We've half our games against Washington done. We played Miami once, and we played Colorado a few games. So we're going to see some of the bottom dwellers in the American League, later on. But yeah, there's not that many games against poor teams anymore. There's just not. So
like we've handled the Braves, and you never want to count them out. They're 6.5 back. The Diamondbacks, again, they have a lot of injuries right now. They're only three games back, and
the experts keep thinking they're going to be sellers.
But again, but they've gone on runs before, and they have the offense.
I know. I don't understand. Well, because Gallen's not pitching well, and Burns is out until 2027 probably. Yeah. So Gallen's been pitching terrible.
Well, you have to define experts too, Jack. I mean, these are guys who are writing for a living. That
I'm talking about the guys on MLB Network.
I even question how many experts there are.
Harold Reynolds. Harold Reynolds is the one my go-to guy.
Oh yeah, I bet. Yeah.
I was listening to the radio today, and they were talking about. They said, Preller's gonna. They said, if Milwaukee goes after somebody, which Milwaukee rarely does. And then Preller, he said, Preller's going to make a move to make the team better.
Sure,
because he's always all in. He's always all in, which I kind of go back and forth with. I go, well, yeah, we definitely need some more offense, and we could use more pitching.
Sure,
but who couldn't?
But who couldn't? I mean, the bottom line is there's more than enough guys out there guessing. I mean, you got guys like Jim Bowden. Okay, let's bring it up. I mean, come on. He's talking about, the Padres trading 4 of their best prospects, for one guy.
A year and a half of Sandy Alcantara.
Yeah. Alcantara, who is still rounding into form, but is a long ways from being there.
And even then, I wouldn't trade them.
No way. No. I wouldn't trade them for Tarek Skubal. I really wouldn't.
Agreed.
I wouldn't trade all 4 of those guys for him.
Yeah.
There's no way. No. Not going to do it.
I might.
Not going to do it.
Not for Leo DeVries. Are you kidding me? It was tough enough watching Woods.
I might do it.
No.
You don't have to do it. I might do it.
Okay. All right. But let's back to this. We're facing, to your point, Jerry. So
what about Paul Skeens?
Nope.
Nah, because it's just pitchers, man. They're one game.
Yeah.
I'd do it.
Aaron Judge.
Sure.
I'd do that.
Yeah. I agree. Like an offensive player, sure. I would.
Give me somebody that's going to be more than just a year and a half rental. Yeah. I think that's my biggest point, Jack, of all of that is you got, the 4 gentlemen that he named are all, yes, possibilities. They're not there yet. You don't know for sure. No doubt about it. But those are our highest end prospects he just named off, and all it takes is for 1 or 2 of them and having 6 years of control versus a year and a half of a maybe. I mean, it's
I wouldn't do it for
Alcantara, for crying out loud, is not even back to form yet. Yes. I mean, so it was written in an article that I read of one of these experts, and wasn't trying to stir the drama, but basically said, maybe if he was back, back in his, Cy Young days kind of thing. Yeah. Okay. Maybe, but even then,
maybe
it's that's just a lot,
So Reds are playing hot. That's who we're going to next. So they're above 500. The Cardinals playing well. I
don't think they last.
That's what everyone's kind of feeling with them.
That's what everyone's been saying all season, though.
I get it. And look at San Francisco now. Everybody had them way up there too, as well as the Padres.
Well, Devers is poison, so
Well, I mean, speaking of big trades, they pull that trade, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, this is it was a very Preller-esque trade in terms of getting this kind of blockbuster thing." But they've lost their last 3 games.
But like Bogarts, Fritz, what's Frisco Stadium's name?
Oracle Park.
Oracle Park is not Fenway.
But they did a lot of research on him, though, and the consensus is that was not going to hurt him. That for all the givens of Boston Fenway Park, the metrics panned out for his current hitting and all he's done. would not hurt him. It helped him in some places at the park, and it would hurt him in other places at the park.
Yeah, like I said,
but it's to me, it's a lesson so
him.
far. But it's a lesson so far to what I was talking about last week, which is you're more than one player away. So San Francisco really, when you really, really dig into the stats, San Francisco and San Diego are a mirror image of each other right now. Really good pitching, really good bullpen, not so good hitting, not scoring enough runs. I mean, it's just, boom, boom, right? It's the same problem with them, though. If one hitter is not going to fix the problem, and the same thing I say for our Padres, one hitter is not going to make the difference.
That's where I disagree. That's where I disagree because I think while our offense hasn't been clicking, I think at least on paper, we stack up better than the Gigantes because you have Tatis who's not hitting, but when he's on, he's better than anybody the Giants.
He is actually hitting. He's up there. He's top 10 in WAR.
Sure, but his defense factors in that WAR as well. I think a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm saying
he's not slacking though, Jay.
Sure. Yeah, I get that.
Hitting 230 and
what I'm saying is who on the Giants compares to that? Who on the Giants compares to Manny Machado, who's having a career year this year? Who on the Giants is compared to Jackson Merrill? Like they don't have Devers is their first guy on that team. Like, oh, I fear him coming to plate.
Well, Adames
was
supposed to be the guy, but he hasn't.
He's never been. I mean, he was that guy with the Brewers, but that's a hitter's park, like that.
Until we fix our lineup and until everybody hits on all cylinders, because we obviously have a very optimistic view of our Padres. We see the best of them.
Rose-colored glasses. Sure.
I mean, I think a lot of people can say that. If you're a fan of a team, you always seem to see the best of your team, and why. Look at it through trade deals when people offer stuff and you stub your nose at it. Like, sure. Are you kidding me? Why would we give up that guy? Right? Well, they don't look at the DeVries as the next coming for us as we do. We've already got him way up here, right? Other people look at it and say, okay, he's another top prospect that might go. He might be okay. And the same thing. A lot of people don't think that big of Machado. They like, yeah, he's a above average third baseman. They mention Gold Gloves. And they don't even mention Machado. I mentioned the other day, and they go, the first thing the guy says, he's made too many errors. And I'm like, well, I get to see him every day. If you see him every day, you know what he's doing.
Like him.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. So if you look at the stats, Machado is the only one having what you would call a somewhat career year in average. But home runs and RBIs, I mean, take his career, take the back, as Mark Grant said, take the back of his baseball card and put it at the end of the season, and that's what you're probably going to get. So
he's very consistent.
He's very consistent, and you get that. Tatis has not been that consistent. Merrill's only in his second year. We love Merrill. I love Merrill, but he's got 1 year under his belt. So, to sit there and say that he's going to do what he did last year, it's a bold statement. And again, we all have talked about how the bottom of our lineup, it's got to be better, and it's not one guy. It's the bottom of the lineup, the last 3-4 hitters that got to be better.
But if you add another player that can hit, at least that gets us down to 7, right?
And does that make you enough better? Better?
Well, the other day we had Iglesias, we had Bryce Johnson. Who was the other guy? I can't remember who the other guy was. I'm like going, it was like 4 guys. I go, you got to be kidding me.
But is Luis Robert or Robert or Taylor Ward going to make us that like? Are they going to put us over the top now?
I think it would help us.
Yeah, because of
course, it's going to help us, guys. But I'm saying, is it the difference maker?
But go back to where Jay was talking about all those games. How many games did we lose by 1 run?
Like just a little bit, little bit.
How many times could we maybe get our bullpen a break if somebody hits? We have no power. We need a guy that's at least a threat. And again, I don't know.
But do you guys think that we get that guy in a trade? What are we going to have to give up to get that guy? If that guy is available?
I don't know.
And is there anybody on the Rockies, the Marlins, wherever we named off there? Is there anybody there that we sit there and say that's the difference maker? I don't see it. I haven't heard him. I haven't heard the name yet. I haven't heard the name that I go, now that would do it. Like that would be.
Let's check out his baseball savant again. You'll get Tatis. His big thing. There's a article in Baseball Reference, which is like all of his underlying metrics are incredible, but he's not hitting the sweet spot. So he's not like crushing the ball, but everything else is
not like he was the first month of the season.
And it's he hit his arm, the forearm.
Ever since then, he's not been the same.
Yeah, and he's searching, and that's what they say. Is like he's clearly
still look at don't leave, Jay. Look at what he's doing this year compared to past years, and it's very close to the same.
Well, he's playing.
Yeah,
but my point is what are your expectations that it's going to be even better?
Well, the year you had 47 home runs, and
I think hopefully
we're going way back now. We're going way back.
But again, you look at the underlying metrics; it's not all dissimilar from those years. He just was more locked in.
His problem is
that's what I'm saying, though. We're already getting that from him.
Sure,
we're getting what we need from. It's not Machado. It's not Tatis, and in some ways, except for the power, maybe it's not Merrill. Right? Arises maybe 20 points under, but that's singles. But okay, I'll give you that. Right? Bogarts is aiming for about what we got last year from him. Okay. Yeah. Sheets is above that. So where are we going to get all this extra that we're not getting now? This, as the old saying goes, you are what the scoreboard says you are. And I it's not that I don't like our team, but this is who we are. I don't think there's much better to be expected.
I disagree. I respectfully disagree. I think
that's fine. Yeah.
I just remember the first month of the season where it's like, oh my God, this is amazing.
I was talking to Buddy about that. I was like, I think they put too much of a rainbow out there the first 2 weeks, and the expectation like that was going to keep going. We all sit there and said that can't keep happening.
Well, we knew it wasn't going to keep going, but it's just again when you got to somehow fix the bottom of the lineup. I don't know if it can be done.
But we had a worse bottom of the lineup back then.
When in 2022?
No, in the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, but the first 2 weeks,
Jason Hayward out there, your guy's buddy.
You had
Tatis, we had the same two catchers.
You had Tatis and Merrill who were just raking, and Manny was
again. What's different from the lineup now than it was then?
Because they're not as locked in. So you look at Tatis, he's but if you look at where his numbers were in those first weeks, he was really locked in. He was crushing it, and so was Merrill. Merrill was
but Merrill's hitting 460. Huh? Yeah, I mean, is that realistic to expect a guy to hit 460?
But also, we could be hitting better. Like, so you're looking
Tatis was hitting 350. Okay, I mean,
here's where I think the flaw is in your logic. So you're looking at the overall average for Jackson Merrill now, which is like what 304 or something.
306, right?
Yeah, somewhere in there. And you're saying that's who he is right now. That's not. So that you've taken what was 4 something, and now it's gone low to bring him down to 3 something. And he's not currently maybe at his median, right? He's not at his max. He's more towards his min and not at his median. So I think even if you
expect Jackson to hit 340, 350?
Maybe, or at least pushing up there.
Wow. That's real high expectation.
Well, the thing is like I think we can all agree that Jackson Merrill has been just really hitting the ball hard, and they've turned into outs, right? Like, so I feel like it's a disservice to say that they are not better than they are right now, because I think they are. And I think if those lock in and you get a left fielder that can hit better than, to Jack's point, 170 or whatever, then I think that could be a difference maker. I'm not saying all of our problems are solved, but we're already a over 500 team.
I'll say my speech I've been saying all season. You can't – Tyler Wade's, Bryce Johnson, Brooks, Hayward, whoever cannot be starting every day. They just can't. I'm okay with them on the bench. But it's like my dad said about Kurt Bavacqua. I remember back in Kurt Bavacqua, he'd get on a hot streak. People, he should be starting every day. Because what did we have anyway? He should be starting every day. And my dad would go, yep, you're going to start him every day. And what's going to happen? He's going to be old Kurt Bavacqua. He cannot maintain that pace. And that's the problem. We have too many Kurt Bavacquas. Actually, I like Kurt Bavacqua. But we have too many guys on the team that just can't produce consistently. And when I'm saying consistently, I'm just saying, you see Tyler Wade come up and go, God, I hope he gets on. I mean, Bryce Johnson.
Tyler Wade some credit. He he just pulls off these weird at bats that somehow end up being runs. He has a lot
remember how he was in the beginning of the season when he got called back up? It's like Jerry used to say, "I can't believe how well he's hitting." Well, it didn't last.
It didn't last forever.
He came back. Oh, I'm Tyler Wade.
So, with this 13-13 over this 26 and 27 game stretch. So, Jerry, it seems like you're saying, like, where are you at? Because
I'm just saying this is who we are. I don't see us being worse, but I don't see us being better. I think we are what we are.
Not make us better.
I don't think there's a single bat that makes you better. Now, if Preller pulls off a trade and he gets a couple of at-bats, and I'm not talking, again, so many people, it's amazing that our escape route is always something that's out there, right? And bear with me. Hayward's not the answer. Oh, well, let's call up Oscar Gonzalez. Oh, he's not the answer. Oh, let's call up Ornelas. Oh, he's not the answer. Oh, let's put the bottom line is that if they were the answer, they'd already be on the team. Sure. Preller wouldn't. I don't think that. I think that is the problem. I think right now, and again, it's early. I think right now, Preller doesn't have an answer available to him. So I don't think that there's going to just be somebody that's just going to jump off the page and get it. I could be wrong. Hey, who wasn't just absolutely shocked when we got Soto? I mean, who saw that coming, right? I mean, but even with that, is there a guy out there? And that's my question. Is there a guy out there that would supply that much? Because I'm not a believer that you bring over Roberts and like all of a sudden he's going to be Babe Ruth. If you bring over Taylor Ward, all of a sudden he's going to hit 40 home runs for you. I don't believe that. I don't.
That's fine. You're probably being a realist, and I think that's fair.
I'm trying to be optimistically cautious because I think the big thing is to me is my statement is it's who we are. We are who we are. It's not a bad team.
We are who we thought we were.
I don't think it's a great team, and I said that last week. I think it's an average to above average team, but I don't think it's a great team. And back to the 2-week start, that's the spark of optimism I have that if we can make the playoffs, then maybe that shows up. You got to remember last year we went 43-19 the last 62 games. We were 50-50, we went 43-19. I can't believe to expect any team to do that again. That was outrageous baseball. 667 for 62 games is ridiculous baseball.
Mm-hmm.
You can't
into this year too. Yeah,
you can't lean on that, right? And so that's what's got me worried about this team. We had a decent lead. We're at 14-3. You check out everyone in the NL West. Every one of those 4 teams were 10 games over after I think it was 16, 17 games. Mm-hmm. Remember? You know who's still 10 over or above? The Dodgers. The Giants, the Diamondbacks, and the Padres have all played sub 500 ball since that point.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make you a great team? That's a long stretch, guys.
I think it's a long way to go, but we'll see. That's fair. That's fair. All right, so that's Jerry's thought. Jack.
Well, you look at the Dodgers.
13.
Why the Dodgers doing that? Because they have hitters all throughout their lineup.
Yes, true. Okay, but Jack, what's your thoughts? 13-13. We're 8 games above 500 at our halfway point of the season. We've completed 80 games.
Well, I agree with Jerry as far as the team is who we are. This is who we are.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. Look at the team and you go, wow, we're 8 games above 500. I mean, seriously. I mean, you look at the team
early in the season,
and some guy go, wow. I mean, it's pretty amazing. It's because pitching in the bullpen for the most part has carried us, and we get a few timely hits. But man, like I said, you look at sometimes that lineup, and I go, man, that bottom 4, man. Okay, I'll skip the second inning, the 5th inning, and the 7th inning, and then watch the rest because odds are they're not going to get a hit. But they're 8 games over 500. I don't want to give up, but then do I want to sell though either? I don't want to. I mean, I was for the Soto trade, so I can't. I'm not one of those people that complains. I mean, 99% of the Padre fans were for the Soto trade. It did a lot for the team. It helped build a fan base. It helps us keep our payroll at where we're at because we don't have a huge TV contract. So I'm not going to bash it. Sure, it would be great to have James Wood with Merrill and Tatis in that outfield. Give me a better outfield.
Yeah.
But
I still don't want Abrams. So
yeah, I don't want Abrams either. I go, he's gone. I mean, I take Gore because I think Gore deserves better because I think
he's improved since he left. Jack, I will say he's gotten better because he used to have that, the nitpicking, all that kind of stuff. He showed a little bit of it against the Padres. All he pitched to Jim, but that.
No, he's a 4 or 5 starter guy. He's not your front line guy, but I would take him because he does throw a lot of strikeouts, a lot of innings.
Woods is the one that hurts out of all that.
Woods is the one that hurts. I mean, you look at, but I'm not going to complain about it. So now you look at, okay, we got all this young pitching, we got a lot of this. We know Cease, King, Arise, Suarez. And who else am I missing? We don't know the status of Darvish. Will he play? Will he not play? So we might have a lot of holes next year. And that's been our biggest problem with left field is we don't have anybody who can come up and play left field even halfway decent.
Mm-hmm.
So do you make that trade? Do you go, okay, we're going to get a starting pitcher, a catcher, and an out left fielder. We're going to trade our farm system. I don't know if I want to do that.
I think you pick one. You pick one. You can't have them all.
But does that make you? But does that make you good enough?
Sure, good enough to win the World Series.
Yeah.
So Jack sounds like he's kind of on my side because my whole point is you're right, Jack, to get all 3 of those to make yourself a World Series contender. You're giving up your farm system. I mean, there's just no way you fill up 3.
I don't think we have a farm system to do it now.
But we have a lot of young pitching.
Yeah.
We do.
I tell you what, you talk to Preller and he thinks otherwise. He's like, look, if there's one thing I can never disagree with Preller on, it's his scouting ability and his knowledge of players.
And he restocks it.
I'll never doubt what he says. He says, we've got a better farm system than a lot of people give us credit for. Yeah.
And it rings true every year because how many people do we trade away from the Padres that end up being starters on other teams? It's incredible.
And do you really want to, and here's where I agree with Pro to a certain extent. Do you want to be the Baltimore Orioles where you just have this logjam of guys waiting and you just refuse to do anything? You refuse to trade any of them for people? Like, no. To me, that's the trade bait. There's nothing wrong with saying I'm going to give up. He admitted on the Soto trade. There was an article I'm sure you guys saw this morning, and it talked about his attitude towards the Soto trade. He said, "Of course, I had to give up good players. I knew going in. It's like they're not going to take crap." I'm summarizing obviously, but he just.
We got a generational hitter.
You
thought he was going to bring it.
And he knew Woods was good. He knew what he was giving up. But it's like we had a chance to jump in an opportunity for what we considered a generational, player, which Soto is. You like him or dislike him, but you can't get something for nothing. You can't do that. So I have no problem with that. I think that the generational ones, and to me, DeVries is that one. And everything I've read about this guy, every time you see him on videos, you're just like, no, this guy's the real deal. Don't let him go. Those are the guys you hang on to, but the other ones were this and that, and his bad speed. But trade him because you know what? I'm getting something proven already. If I'm getting a major leaguer, I already know what I'm getting. Yeah. Even if it's Robert, even if it's Taylor Ward, at least I know what I'm getting. I know what I'm buying here. I'm not buying a maybe.
Another factor too is you have to realize too we can improve our team, but guess who else is going to have some resources to do it even more as the Dodgers.
And I can't even worry about the Dodgers.
Well, I'm saying though is if I'm trading these talents, I want a chance to go to the World Series. The Dodgers have Glasnow out. They have Snell's out. Those guys are eventually going to come back this season, which will make their team even stronger. But I just like I said, I want to win. I want to win, but I'm like, okay, do I wait next season? Because I don't know what's going to happen with Arise. I would let go. Right as of now, I would not give him a big contract. I'd let him go.
Are you getting him at a good discounted rate?
Cease. Well, there's so many factors with. I mean, he's played better defense, but he doesn't have that long stretch. And there's been a couple of times where it's like, if he was just a little taller, that would have been an out. So. And we don't have any. We need power. We need some power, and he doesn't provide that power. and he doesn't walk, and that pisses me off. So and then you don't know his C's and C's. So it's like you look at that guy and you go, God, how's this guy not winning 18 games a year, 15 games a year? He's got electric stuff.
Yeah,
but he doesn't. He pitch it. Give him credit. Last time, what he went 112 pitches or something like that. 108 pitches, 109. Saved their bullpen.
Yeah.
And Peralta and Pivetta is that kid that he's been. I'm shocked how he's pitching. So
I was telling my friend today, I was talking about it, and Pivetta came in a conversation. I said, I may be shorting somebody out there, but that may be the free agent signing of baseball.
Sure.
Is Nick Pivetta. For the cost and for the contract and for the results.
Yeah, he's been
and quite honestly, his ERA is only in the threes because of that one stinky game.
Yeah.
Where he took one for the team. What was it? 8 or 9 runs in 3 innings. Him and Cease both had one of those where you're like, okay, but yeah, I mean, and one thing I will give too, Jay, and we need to hear from you, but the one thing I will say is the Padres I know all teams do, but the Padres have had some key injuries at the wrong times. So when, with Tatis being out, Merrill being out for a long time, Cronenworth being out for a month.
He's still not
King,
100%.
Yeah, King being out for as long as he has now, Darvish. I mean, so you start adding them up. I mean, I don't know if anybody's had worse luck than the Diamondbacks so far, but we've had some pretty bad luck. But again, all teams go through that, and all teams have that. But it also put a very shining light on the shortness of our depth.
What are they say? What are they saying about Bogarts?
I think it was just a one time. Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, because I saw when he slid like that, I go, no.
Yeah. I had learned a rule on that one. I did not realize it was legal to block if it's in the infield.
Yeah, I knew that from last season.
I did not. I did not know that.
Because I said, "Hey, he blocked."
I was yelling at the TV, going, "Why are they letting him block the plate and the ball's not there?" And then somebody on X answered my question. I didn't ask it, but somebody put on there, "Yeah, it's legal on an infield."
I was listening to I had the Washington feed, so they were saying, "Yep," for all those people complaining. I go, "Yeah, I know it's legal because I remember talking about it last season."
Yeah. So Jay,
where do I side? I think this team is going to go on another heater after the All-Star break. I
hope you're right.
I think we're looking 90+ wins again.
Oh, you're going up to so you didn't start the season that way.
No, I didn't.
Because I was the very optimistic 93 because 92 was last year, and I said one more than last year.
I think maybe 90 wins, but I think because even if
they need 90 though, because if you think about it, Jay, where are they at right now? They're on pace for 90.
Well, exactly.
I only know that because the morning talk show, the Padre round.
If they went 500 the rest of the way, wouldn't they be at 88 wins?
No, I do not believe so.
What's even? The 80 and 80? What's even?
No, 81,
81 and 81.
81 and 81. They're 8 games above 500. So if they do
4 games above, that's 85.
85. Okay.
85 and 77.
Slightly better than 500. I feel like they have a chance to go on a run. There's 80 games left, right? Because this is their halfway point.
82. But
82, 81.
Use on the math.
Yeah. Game 81 is Friday.
Okay. Game 81 is on Friday. Yeah. So you split that down the middle, 50-50. Doesn't that mean we're still 8 games above 500?
Yeah, which is 85 and 77.
Oh, 85 and 77. Okay. So maybe a little bit more than that. I feel like we got a little run in us.
Well, they're going to have to because if you look at the same thing for all those teams, Jay.
Yeah.
It's going to have to be 90, I think. Yeah.
So, and then I think we'll get it. And I think we're going to the playoffs. And I think we're going to go on a run.
Okay. I think last year, if I recall, the 3 teams that tied for the last spot in Arizona got booted.
88
was
wins,
88, I believe.
88, yeah.
Yeah. So, every year is different, but when you start talking about this many teams making playoffs, you can kind of lay a hat on, so it's going to be somewhere between 87 and 90 more times than not. And especially with this many teams involved, that can bring that number down a little bit.
Because nobody's trading off their good.
Yeah, you don't have people taking off, and so that can bring the number down a little bit. But
yeah.
I'm I'm hoping you're right, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope this is a much better team than I thought.
Schultz teams are such second half teams historically, both Cardinals and Padres now.
Yes, that has been brought out. Yeah.
And like the way this team plays, and it's how they've been able to stay afloat, is they play, generally most nights sound baseball, and teams that aren't disciplined usually fall off in the second half, and Schultz teams usually come on strong in the second half, and they take advantage of that. The people start to, lose focus second half of the year. So I got a feeling.
Well, you have the Midwest teams and the East Coast teams have to deal with that heat,
and
San Diego doesn't. So I think that helps, unless they
get to experience that in the next 3 games.
Yeah.
But, well, and to your point though, Jay, that another concern, right, is our bullpen set up for a second half? I mean, it is concerning when you have Adam is leading Major League Baseball in appearances, and Estrada, I believe, is like 5th. I mean, I sit here and I think trade. Like, let's talk a little bit more about trade. What do we have to offer? Okay, so we have bullpen, and you sit there and say, "Oh, we have bullpen." Okay, well, if we trade let's throw a wild hair out there. We trade Suarez, and we go to Manny, and we go to Tatis and Bogarts and all these guys and sell it as like, look, this is the valuable piece that we have that we can trade. We still feel like we have enough bullpen, but for us to get somebody, we need to trade Robert because he's going to walk next year. You guys understand the business. We're not selling. We're getting something else in between.
Sure.
But then you sit there and you go, okay, so now what am I going to do? My bullpen, like Adam and Estrada, who along with Moreholm probably come up as closer. Okay, these guys are running up the games already. So now you go, what? What are you going to do for, and if you trade a Moreholm, or if you trade an Estrada, or if you trade
I don't trade Moreholm. I don't.
Well, I don't want to trade. I'm just saying, if you trade somebody like that, you got to trade something to get something. And you're trading a bullpen guy, because bullpen guys, as the Dodgers and the Padres both traded for last year, are valuable if you're going to the playoffs.
Absolutely.
I can't have enough bullpen. I mean, what did we think when they traded for Scott and Adam and all these guys? And we're like, holy crap, how many bullpens guys we need? Well, we needed every one of them.
Yeah. Exactly. But I do think there is something to the effect of, if the strategy plays out right, at this point, we've erred on the side of caution to the pitch counts for these starting pitchers. I think they need more innings so that
agree. Yeah.
That you do give the time off to, or give more time back to the bullpen, because you can't, because I think it was part of 2022, which we failed, was we burned through 2022 is 21. 21's the year we imploded because we like burnt through the bullpen early, and we didn't replace that or get any new starting pitching. And we had Jake Arrieta, a totally Jake Arrieta,
that was
Rich Hill, like coming in to try and win us games, and it was awful. And it's that back half of that 21 season was terrible. So it's either we do what we did last year and you refill the bullpen, so you have a bajillion bullpenners. But I feel like even through the minor league, we've got that in spades. Or
we got guys like Brandon Nett. We got Bradley Rodriguez.
Well, Brandon Nett's a starter, isn't he?
What I'm saying though is you can bring a lot of these guys up for long relief and just extra arms and stuff like that. And
Holling's back too.
Who's going to start Monday? The talk is do you bring up Waldron? Do you bring up
how's
them Hart? Do you do a bullpen game? Things like that. I think a lot of it's going to be dictated by what happens in this 3-game series.
Sure.
If you use a lot of bullpen, then you're going to have to bring up.
Who do we play Monday?
Yeah, Texas.
Texas.
Yeah.
Oh,
Texas is bad this year. What are you talking
about?
Yeah,
but it's a hitter's park.
It's a dome stadium, though.
Yeah. All right. I feel better.
But anyway, it's just the trade bait we have is just not sufficient to go get anybody. And I'm definitely on the fence post. I said it last week. I'm not giving up on this team. I just don't want to see us throw all the marbles in on this particular team. I think that there's a great future for this team. And I think probably Preller has got his nose deep in the book on who's going to be free agents the next couple of years. And you got to give, that's what you got to give. I mean, not that they were only one, but you got to give Dodgers credit when you hear about the Ohtani chase. It's like they saw that 4 years away. They're like, okay, this guy's going to be a free agent, and this year, what are we going to do? They let Seager go. They let Bellinger go. They cast all their marbles into one sack and just said, "Here it is."
Ohtani was probably a done deal. We just didn't know.
Well, it could be, but you can't discredit the Dodgers for what they have done. We can collectively not think it's fair, but the bottom line is they still had to execute, and they still did. So, but hey, Michael.
DeGrom
is back, and he's looking good.
I think that's what he means by he's back, because his last 5 starts have been pretty
But are
good.
we facing him though?
He pitched yesterday, wasn't it, or today? Which one was it? Yesterday or today? So yeah, he definitely will be
Texas
pitching.
is at home. We're going to Philly after Cincinnati.
Oh, is it Philly? Oh,
yeah.
Good.
So DeGrom doesn't scare
just
me.
to miss DeGrom. Yeah.
And then
well, fastball pitchers, you're right, Jack. I mean, it's now give you a left-hander,
No, I'm kidding. I DeGrom. Healthy DeGrom is scary.
But gosh, man, when DeGrom is on, he's incredible.
But having to go to the Phillies, my goodness, Phillies got our number, man.
Yeah, as long as Harper stays out.
Yeah, but they still collectively Schwarber just absolutely mauls.
Schwarber always gets some monster home.
He mauls.
Can we trade for him? Can we get him?
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
I want a guy bet one.
He's a free agent after this season.
He is.
The bottom line, and I know he's still a masher, but I don't know if I'd want to bite into that apple, with his age and stuff like that.
He's not a great defender. I mean, I guess you put him at DH.
They basically put him at DH, but no, they're just a bunch of mashers. They always remind me of Harvey's Wallbangers back in the day, where it's just home run threat after home run threat after home run threat.
It's the Brewers, Jay.
Yeah.
Who's the Brewers?
He was talking about the Brewers.
Harvey's Wallbangers.
I was trying to look up this guy from Texas that people want us to trade for, Adolis Garcia.
He's another guy that's just having a horrible year.
He is.
Horrible. And
230, 672. Rough.
He just hits home runs. That's all he does. I mean, that's again, him, Ward, and Roberts. They're all the same. They're 200 hitters that hit a home run.
We could use that.
Listen, Michael, I'm not in this camp. All right, it's the 2 old guys that are all about this.
I'm not giving up. I'm just saying I don't know what it depends on who we're going after, because I know Preller's going to make a trade. I was talking about going after Seattle. What's the guy's name? They got him from the Marlins, I think, or the Rays. Can't remember who. And then bring our reliever home.
Rosiano, but Seattle's in the chase.
Yeah, but people in the know are saying, "Hey, Seattle might be selling," because they don't go out and buy. They sell.
I think the bottom part, the gist of this conversation has all been, what can the Padres do to get there? I don't think any of us are doubting that they can make the playoffs as is. I'd like their chances a lot better if they added 2 or 3 pieces. My point is as is. I don't think they're great.
What about Ward and Ohapi?
Yeah, I don't think, the one thing I get from a lot of the comments, I don't think the Padres are in the least bit interested in going and getting a different catcher. I think they like what they've got as far as the way that they handle the pitching staff.
What's kind of wild is versus left-handers, Maldonado's hitting like 313.
Yeah.
Why isn't he catching every game against left-handers?
I don't think he physically can.
Well,
you saw him running home.
and Diaz is hitting 220. I mean, again, there's a lot worse out there, guys.
208, but he's hit 19 home runs, Taylor Ward.
But he hit like 10 of them within about a 2-week span. And I know that counts, but yeah.
Michael, no way the Angels let go of Ohapi.
Yeah, they're not going to let him go.
Hung
Sloth, and what the Padres don't do is hit home runs, which that's my point. Like, go after a masher. We just need a masher.
It does put fear in the lineup having someone you have a guy to get a home run, because you got to be careful.
Home run mash. But we have people to fear in our lineup. That's what we're not the Giants here. We have people to fear. And the only thing
Giants would argue that
fear itself.
The Giants would argue that.
They've got Devers, who they just traded for. Who
They
else?
got Adames. They got Flores is having a great year. They got Chapman. He's on the IL. They got
Flores is 107 years old.
they got Lee.
Well, Lee is fading.
I'm going to tell you right now, Flores is having
a slap hitter. He's not a home run hitter.
Okay, well, Flores is having a better year than a lot of our guys.
Looks at Wilmer Flores. 243, 11 home runs, 1 stolen base with a 704 OPS. That's a lot better than our guys.
Plus, his name is Wilmer. Come on.
It's terrible.
You can't fear a guy named Wilmer. Now, I apologize, anyone listening. If you're
Wilmer,
how many RBIs does Wilmer have?
He's got 40 something, right?
Let's see. Hold on. It's just a bunch of like underlying metrics.
And a lot, again, like Ward, a lot of those were in the beginning of the season.
Like he was hot to start the season, but he is faded away. And then yes, dude, same for Jung Hoo Lee. Let's see.
This kind of sounds like a couple of players we got.
You know what? I can't. Look at this. 255, 703 OPS.
He's really,
is better than that.
He's really come down.
And then who'd else you say? Matt Chapman?
I don't know. Go look at the runs scored, because that's all that really matters to me for the two teams.
What? Well, run differential?
Yeah. Go look at the two.
I think they were up by 10 on us there.
Well, I know Garcia had hit.
Chapman's solid. Chapman's having a good year.
Not from the bench.
Well, no, but average is low.
He's on the IL.
12 home runs, 12 OPS.
Hey, bottom line is, guys, run scored. So you know what? They got more runs than we got. So who are we to talk about how we're?
Gavin Sheets, who's our 5th hitter and sometimes 6th hitter. Let's look at his numbers here on the year. He's at 12 home runs, 263 average, a 778 OPS. That's better than Wilmer Flores, Jung Hoo Lee.
Yeah, his name is Gavin. That's a baseball name, Gavin.
And I agree with Hung Sloth here. Postseason Garcia is different. Like you get him in the postseason when he goes on one of those another crazy runs.
He had a couple of years where
if a guy has a great postseason, does that make him one great postseason? Does that make him a great postseason player
for
the rest of his
life?
life?
Reggie Jackson, okay,
for the rest of his life. No matter when they go to the World Series, or they go to the playoffs now, he's got to be better.
Rosarena is one of those guys.
Bucky Dent.
Bucky Dent.
Bucky didn't get it to get them into the World Series.
Yeah, but he did it with his son Tri.
Oh, you guys. I love your optimism.
His wife,
I do. I hope you guys are right. I really do. This is not about me wanting to prove a point.
In the day.
This is not me wanting to make a point. My thing is that I'm still going to be optimistic. I want them to be there. I think they are in a good place. If they start playing better, I just don't expect it to be any better.
Sure.
That doesn't. So again, if they are 5 games, what are they now? 8 games over 500.
8 games over 500.
If they're 16 games over 500, then that's awesome. That's awesome. That's I believe like 92 wins. So
postseason Tatis, it's different.
Michael, I don't think the Cubs would sell.
Well,
I could see Milwaukee, because Milwaukee is just, you never know what they're doing.
Many people are saying that.
But Milwaukee,
I don't see the Cubs selling, because they're in it. I mean, they are definitely in it now. Having said that, there's a difference between trading and selling, and so sometimes we do have to clarify that, because you can be a seller but also a buyer.
Sure.
And so I put like a team like the Cubs, and even the Padres is one of those where I'll sell off one piece to get another piece, but I'm not bowing out here, right? I think that the Padres fall in that category, kind of like and again, I'm not trying to make up deals because I would have no clue what they're actually talking about. But if you traded a Suarez because you're deep in the bullpen to go get a considerably better left fielder, not just a rental piece, right? I can see that kind of a deal where they might
not a black hole piece.
Yeah, but just or a couple of young arms that like a Reynolds or Hoeing or something like that, where you say that's where I'm deep. I can afford to trade that, because I believe the Cubs are one of them. I hope I'm not speaking wrong here, but there's a few playoff type teams that are really hurting in the bullpen. I mean, just really bad. Diamondbacks, for that matter, that are really hurting in the bullpen. And I think that's a strength that the Padres could deal off
Let's
of.
give them some bullpen and then give us Kyle Tucker. Win-win.
Who complains?
I think
next year, Tucker's playing left field for the Dodgers.
Hey, at least we get a little taste. Just a taste.
It's already been alluded that he's aiming that way.
Yeah, who else going to sign him? The Yankees.
I mean, the Yankees should.
Well, they got Grisham.
Yeah.
Is Grisham?
So I don't totally agree with Hungsloff. He put something up there. Hungsloff
got 4 hits yesterday.
Hungsloff says never fix a hole by making a hole, and I'm not saying make a hole. I'm saying deal from something that you have an added strength to. So I want to make sure I'm clear on that, Hungsloff. That I'm not saying create one. I think we have 3 guys. Michael, you're misreading us. That's not what we're saying.
We have Dark Jerry in the house for the past couple weeks. I don't like it.
I'm lukewarm Jack. It depends on what we have to give up.
I think there's a bit of realism.
I'd get rid of Salas.
Games above 500. What are we talking about here?
I'd trade Salas in a second for more talent.
My overriding statement this whole time is we are who we are. So we're 8 games over 500. Is that a bad statement? Is that bad to say that we are who we are?
We're a winning team in a playoff spot.
We're 8 games again. We're 8 games over 500. Yeah. We are the last wild card. I just don't see that we are going to get marginally better. As you guys are saying,
bath
water.
It's to back your point up here, Jerry. Yeah, we're not causing a hole because we do have a lot of depth for relievers and really good relievers. So go to the club.
Let's get Munoz back from Seattle, though. I hated making that trade.
Hey, listen, what are you talking about? We got a catcher that's going to be with us for generations, and Austin Nola.
No power.
All right.
You can't win every trade.
You can't win them all. We've won some, we lost them,
and we lost that one.
We lost that one big time.
Yeah, there's not too many
At
trades.
Least with Washington, we got Soto.
I'm not the wisest baseball fan out there, but there's not too many trades that you sit there and go, "Oh, that's just a horrible trade." I from any team, because I just don't know that much, right? I mean, I sit there.
2020 off season is his worst trade.
A lot of the trades that they make, sometimes you're just like, I don't know who that is, or that guy was up for a cup of coffee. What do I know? And
I don't know who Austin Nola was, to be honest with you.
I'm just saying, I'm man enough to admit that, when he traded Rizzo, it's like, okay, he came for a cup of coffee. He couldn't even clear 200. I don't know what he's going to turn into. Trey Turner, guys like that. The same thing when he got Tatis.
I didn't know who he was, but
he got
getting rid of.
But he got Tatis, and I'm just like, I don't know who that is until you start learning. So that's where GMs earn their money, because they're dealing a lot of times with the maybes, the might be's, and that's people whose job it is to go out and see who these guys are and make that judgment on, I think he's going to be the next guy. And again, Preller has said it himself. Right. Sometimes you got to trade good players.
I was happy about getting Myers, but I didn't like trading.
Remember, Trey Turner was a player to be named later, so that wasn't part of the trade initially. He got selected later. All right, gentlemen, we're coming to the hour here. It's time to pick how we think we're
6-0, because I don't want anybody to be me dark.
Wow.
All right, so we have the day off today. Tomorrow we start in Cincinnati. Very hot swelter. Yankees were just there. Michael watched yesterday's game. It was hot out there. So it's going to be a temperature change for our boys. So we have Cincinnati for 3 games, and then no break. We go straight to Philly for 3 games. So 6 games total.
Who does Philly play before we play them?
They've lost 3 in a row. Let's see.
I don't know the specifics, but I know a lot of the teams in our division are playing their B schedule.
They are, yeah.
Yeah.
LA's playing the Rockies right now.
Yeah.
or they just finished the sweep of the Rockies.
They beat the
yeah,
Rockies.
they're playing like Miami, and although Miami just kicked the Giants, you know what? So
You see the game yesterday where Muncy hit the pop up and it's literally pouring. I mean, I've
Colorado,
never seen
man.
I go, why didn't they stop that game before that? The guy lost the ball. It almost hit the first baseman in the head. It was the second baseman calling for it. He couldn't see it.
They will have just played the Braves, who the Braves have been kind of taking it to the Mets, and they're playing Houston, and they got swept by Houston, and then they're going into Atlanta.
Would you trade that bottom trade? Would you trade those 4 guys for Ronald Acuna Jr.?
How long is his left? What's his deal left?
I think he's just signed it. He signed a.
Then he
signed it. He signed about 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's a good. I think it's one of those 10-year contracts. I could be wrong.
But they're not going to trade him. He's like their Tatis. I don't see that happening.
Put him in left field. That's a good outfield.
Well, yeah, but I don't think we're getting him.
So they're now Jay's negative. Jerry and Jay.
The rumor around the Braves. The rumor around the Braves that if they were out of it, that Chris Sale would probably be the guy that they would trade.
Which I'd take him. He's great. We'll close on All-Star game, Michael. All right. So, Jerry, are you really saying 6-0, or what's your
4-2?
4-2.
I think 2-1. 2-1 against Cincy. The breaker is if they can sweep Cincy, and then I'm sorry, we don't match well. I'm hoping for 1-2 or 2-1, depending on how we do in Cincy.
Fair enough. All right, Jack.
I'll go. I said 5-1 last week. They went 4-2, which I was happy with. So I'll go 5-1 again.
Okay.
Because I'll be happy with 4-2.
Yeah.
I am gonna go. Gosh, I think I've been trying to hold up the positivity. I'm gonna say 6-0, folks.
Wow. You know, we know you're full of crap.
Yeah. No kidding.
No way.
All right. Yeah. No but way. Oz loves you now, so yeah.
All right, let's talk about All-Star Game. The finalists were announced like kind of while we were doing this stream. And Manny Machado is the number 1 vote getter for third baseman. He is in a final round going against Maximus Muncy.
Now, who are the fans still voting?
I think
because now it's just split between the 2 players. We're
not going to win because people don't like Manny, and Dodgers have
fans voted him by over like 1 million votes over Max Muncy. Yeah. Fans.
I'm just saying the Dodger fans will stuff the ballot box.
You could say that in the outfield where both Teoscar Hernandez and Andy Pages made it to the final 6. Tatis did not. Yeah. Pages has had himself an amazing season. Teoscar not so much, but they just won the World Series. They got a lot of
It's a popularity contest, and you guys know my feeling. I could care less. I really could care less about the All-Star game. And as a whole, the voting, everything about it, it is truly just a popularity contest.
Can I tell you what I'm excited about this year with the All-Star game? I'm excited that
where's it at?
Atlanta. It's like a makeup for the COVID season.
Okay.
I am excited for the return of wearing their normal uniforms during the game. No more of those stupid.
I thought they had different jerseys.
They got different jerseys for everything outside of the game.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. They reverted.
Atlanta didn't lose it for COVID. They lost it because
I'm saying they lost it that COVID season.
There was something happened in Georgia that they took the. I forget what happened, but anyway.
Yeah. Either way, it was that post-COVID season that they lost it. Sorry, no one likes a guy wearing glasses. Sorry, Michael. But so I'm excited they're bringing back that aspect because it's
people have been complaining about it since
they did it.
Yeah,
and
they're trying to sell merchandise.
My hope is that Tatis makes it to the team as a sub or something, but I really hope that Tatis gets to do his first home run derby. It's wild. He's been in the league how long, and he's not done a home run derby. He was hurt last year. He was hurt.
Say that screws them up. A lot of people don't do it because it screws you up.
Do it. Just do it.
If to be honest with you, with Tatis, the forearm, the hand, the wrist, I would probably be better if he didn't play. Just get.
I hope most of our guys don't make it. Because I think it's a worthless exhibition.
Merrill, Arise, Profar and Fernando got.
Yeah, but I hope they don't make it. And I'm just being honest. I'd rather them get the rest. You know, I mean Suarez is probably going to make it as a reliever. I think just because of the strength of the National League pitching that Pivetta probably won't make it.
Probably, which is fine.
Which is fine. That's what I'm saying. Manny will make it. Nobody else on our team will make it. Merrill didn't have enough season.
Suarez gets in because he hit Ohtani.
Yeah, but Tatis probably won't make it because they'll take it from another team. There's too many teams that need players because your Dodgers are going to, put 6 or 7 guys in there, right or wrong, and so that limits how many extras they can take off the teams.
And plus, every team has to have somebody.
That's what I'm saying. It's I said, I have never. I mean, since I was maybe, I don't know, I enjoyed it maybe when I was 13 or 14, and I started realizing just what a joke of a game it was.
Wow, just
and then
sorry to bring up All-Star game too.
It's just, I know, it just makes
laughs.
The guy that had the best idea on the radio today is because he said, but they're all-star. How many times they're an all-star goes on their Hall of Fame credentials and all that. And he's right. That's what's wrong about it, right? Because I don't agree with that. So ever since the fans took over the vote way back in the 70s, this is what's been wrong. Make it the all MLB team at the end of the season, like you do with basketball or football, all pro team. And even football is a joke because half the guys don't go. So there's
they play flag football.
They end up with like the 6th quarterback in the AFC to be an all pro.
Sure. Yeah,
because that's the only reason it matters. And for whatever reason, I don't know why the Hall of Fame needs that, but they like to count how many times a guy was on the All-Star game. But then a lot of times, though, in all seriousness, it's unfair because they're crowded. I mean, there's been times when the National League shortstop had 6 guys that belonged on the All-Star team, and you go through AL and third baseman. There was 7 guys that should have been there, and you got another position where there's just only 1 guy, and he's always there, So I think that's the fallibility of All-Stars is that you don't always get the best players. You get the fan favorites. And that's what it is. It's an exhibition. It's a cause for celebration. But, yeah, I just don't have a whole lot of merit. And I don't think I've watched an All-Star game in probably 20 years.
Well, to be fair, it's the only thing the fans have control of.
Yeah.
They don't have control of salaries.
And if that's what you want, grades. Yeah, I mean, that's great.
I mean, I don't – I'm like you. I don't care. I'll sit there and fun around. Okay, is a Padre up yet? Nope. Okay. Oh, he batted and I didn't see it? Okay. He's already down. We should wrap this up because I got another thing to do.
Yeah. Well, I will say that I like the All-Star game and I enjoy the pageantry. Last year, we had one of the greatest national anthems of all time. Okay.
Yeah, at least they're not doing where they have whoever wins gets the home field advantage.
With all your negativity. Now listen,
that was stupid.
Oh Jesus. Anyway. That'll do it for this episode of Padres Talking Padres. Thank you so much for the chat, Oz, Michael, Hung Slot, Gabriel. Thank you so much for coming and hang out with us and talk baseball. Maybe, just maybe, if they do go 6-0, the angry mob that I podcast with will be in a bit of better mood.
Games over 500.
Go Padres. I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong.
We'll see you all next time. Hasta luego. And goodbye.
Bye.
Arrivederci.